In this video, I wanted to highlight my new favorite reel for inshore saltwater fishing. We're talking about more of the finesse fishing side. This is my favorite one that's under the $100 price point, and it's the Daiwa Legalis. This is a reel that doesn't get nearly as much attention as it deserves, in my opinion. And the core reason for that is just that the specs are just astoundingly good, especially when comparing them to other reels in their price point, and even reels even like 2 times more expensive. This is now coming in at just $79.99. And when you consider the fact that it's just 7.2 ounces, super light reel that is very, very smooth. This one I've been using for about a year now, and I can still get a lot of turns after I let go of the handle. This has been put up against a lot of juvenile tarpon, a lot of slot snook, slot reds. I've taken this on my paddleboard on many occasions, so it's definitely had some salt exposure, and it has held up against surprisingly well for a reel of this price point. But that being said, right, this is definitely not an all-purpose reel that you use in all conditions. So in this video, we're going to talk about the top pros. We're also going to talk about situations where you should not use this reel, at least in my opinion. And please know this is not a sponsored post. As you'll hear in this video, I'm going to talk about the cons of it as well. And we welcome any and all feedback. If you have used this reel and you have anything either good or bad to say, we're not going to take it down. You can leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. I just wanted to share what I found so far in case you were at least curious to learn more about this reel. So let's talk about the pros first. So again, overall, I mentioned before about it's just lightweight. This is a super lightweight reel that's very smooth. And although it doesn't have a carbon drag, this drag that they have in here, this system has been shockingly smooth. Again, I thought it would go down and wear down after a while. I've put this through a lot of abuse, and it still feels extremely smooth, just as smooth as, again, a lot of my reels that are in the $200 price point range. So the situation where I really like this reel, and this is the 2500 that I'm using. This is personally my favorite by far. It's lightweight. I'm using this with 10-pound or less braid. It lets me cast super far. Most important, it lets me cast all day long, where I can get out there and make a ton of casts. And the fact that it's so light and so smooth, it's just a joy to fish with for the light tackle fishing. Where I would not use this reel is if I'm going after heavy tackle stuff. If I'm going after fish where I need 20-pound braid and I need to pull big fish like upper slot or over slot snook or redfish away from structure, this would not be the reel that I go with. This is a composite frame, which is how it's so light. So for that heavier tackle fishing, I absolutely recommend going up. You have to upgrade up to a reel that has a metal frame, ideally aluminum because it's light and strong. If not, at least go to metal frame. Yes, you're going to have a much heavier reel, but it's just going to be able to feel way more comfortable when you're going after the big tackle fish. But if you're looking for just a lightweight and comfortable reel to use for inshore fishing, we're talking about slot-sized redfish, slot-sized snook, mangrove snapper, sheep's head, and you're going to be using 10-pound line or less, this reel, again, is very, very impressive. Just so you know, right, I obviously love the Fuegos. If you've seen any of my prior reviews and videos, I still love the Fuego. Basically, my impression, again, my personal impression, just based on feel, is that this Legalis feels very similar to the Fuego, right? As far as the specs, they're basically identical. As far as weight, as far as inches per turn, right, it's all very, very similar. The drag capacity, both these are 22 pounds of drag, which is, again, way more than you actually need. And really the core difference between these two is that the Fuego has mag seal. So it's basically an extra $30 for the mag seal. And I can't confidently say that that extra $30 is worth it or not. I'm really not sure. I was expecting this Legalis to have really croaked before now. So in general, right, I still love both these reels as far as just the overall value, right? The fact that this is coming in at just $79 and it's held up for a long time. I've just been super impressed, and this is going to be the one that I'm going to keep buying until I start seeing them wear out. But as I mentioned before, right, please do leave your feedback. If you've used this Legalis reel, I'd love to hear from you. Ideally, if you've used both, just to see if you've seen that one can outlast the other. Technically, this will just need to last 30% longer, and it'll justify the difference in price. I personally don't know if that's the case or not. Either way, I absolutely love both these reels. Both of them have been just extremely good for this finesse type fishing. And based on what I've felt so far, really for both these reels, I can definitely confidently recommend these for light tackle situations. I personally like to stay under $100 for this light tackle inshore fishing, really because you don't need to go any heavier. And the fact that this is now priced over the $100 price point, that this Legalis is really now my number one. Again, it really has the same exact feel. Although I thought it wouldn't last very long, it has held up considerably well in my testing so far. As I mentioned before, if you have used it, please leave a comment down below. And if you do want to give this reel a shot, we have them in stock at fishstrong.com. And if you're an Insider Club member, we'll actually give you line and spool it for you free of charge. So if you get this reel from fishstrong.com and you're logged in as an Insider member, you're going to get this spooled up free of charge. It'll have line on it ready to go. All you have to do, put it on a rod and go out there and go fishing. Thanks so much for your time and watching. Hope to see you again soon.